And good evening, and welcome to Driving Maul for our post-match reaction. Got that right today. Of the Hurricanes Chiefs game that's just finished. You're joining NZ Fatso, and I'm also joined by Herman. Herman, how are you doing today?
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Well, had a bit of a rough day, so enjoy watching the rugby, and now having a bit of a chat about it. Hope you've had a good day.
Yeah, it is, and I agree with you. That's proper therapy,
Yeah, right.
Watch the bit rugby have it.
Yes. Well, we'll crack on into it. Um, as
Sure.
standard, I suppose, just as a start off, as games go in the New Zealand Conference, maybe not living up to the standards that we used to. Had its patches and its moments, but pretty scrappy affair at times.
Little bit. I wouldn't be as harsh as you are, but I think we're definitely a case that, especially from media, where sometimes overhyping the quality of New Zealand rugby. Like it's always best, best, best. But to be fair, it still is the best. But sometimes could be a little bit better. But they did actually say it in the end, like, "Oh, Brodie Retallick didn't really have his best night." I was even surprised. Oh, and to be fair, he was not his usual self today.
No, he wasn't, and we'll have a chat about that a bit later too.
Okay.
First moment of the game, I thought was very early on. I think within the third minute of the game, Damien McKenzie, beautiful ball to Nathan Harris down the left hand wing, and he dummies to Almalo on the outside and takes the tackle. And I think if it was shoveled on, it's try time.
Yeah. No, I mean, but to be fair, I think we bombed a few tries today with Chiefs.
Yes.
Yeah, like they did. They
Yes.
could. The scoreline is not really fair on them at all. They could. Yeah, they getting a little bit frustrating with Chiefs when we play against Crusader. It was a blow-up score in the end, but they were really in that game until that yellow card in the end. And it's again against Hurricanes now, the second like top New Zealand side. They're really in it. So yeah, we predicted last week that the Chiefs are probably like the dark horse for the playoffs, and I still have them there. They look good.
Yeah, look, interesting actually. You mentioned they bombed a few tries because as the commentators on TV sort of mention, I think Alamalu, I hope I'm saying his name right, has upset some of his teammates because Charlie Natai in that second half also, he's Alamalu's away and free on the outside, and he takes the inside ball, which I believe gets knocked on. So there was a few tries that they bombed, but going on to the first try that the Hurricanes scored, and that was a cracker. That was an absolute cracker.
Yeah.
Laumapi going through the midfield, drawing McKenzie and Retallick, and offloading out to Ben Lamb, who then basically bumps off about 3 to go under the post, or close enough.
But Ben Lamb, it doesn't look like he can put a foot wrong right now. And even he didn't score any more tries, but I thought he looked like a menace every single time he touches the ball. He got like that super confidence going now, and probably his body is 100% too. So he feel like he can express himself right now.
Yeah, actually, interesting comment that because it does feel like he can't put a foot wrong. In saying that, I'm just wondering. I obviously missed the last minute of the game as I was rushing over to get the broadcast started. And just as I was leaving, I heard that the one of the commentators mentioning Ben Lamb sort of not looking too good. So I'm not sure whether that was anything serious or not.
I didn't go back to it until I stopped watching too. But it was they said also from the commentators box that we thought it could be a hammy.
Yeah.
So
I had a note after he scored the try there is that Ben Lamb putting his hand up. If he's pulled a hammy, he might not be. Look. Since we're on Ben Lamb, we'll jump ahead a little bit in terms of the fact is that obviously, if it is on a serious injury, he is putting his hand up. So is Alumalu. Number 11s, they're all competing for a black jersey spot with this guy called Waisaki Naholo, I'm guessing. I'm not sure that they would basically. I'm not sure that they would basically usurp Waisaki Naholo on that left wing at the moment, even as well as they are playing.
I mean, a little bit of sidestep, but I think most of you viewers can appreciate it. What does your back three for the All Blacks look like now?
Oh, look, at this point in time, you won't go past Naholo's, Ben Smith, and Ioane on the back three.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's guys putting their hand up. Unless injuries come along, I think that back three that I mentioned will start. You'll have the opportunity of the Ben Lambs, Alamalu's possibly off the bench. But as you said, we're digressing and jumping quite far ahead. So basically, after Ben Lamb's try, we had the Chiefs basically getting a scrum penalty, which was surprising because the first scrum of the game they got smashed in by the Hurricanes. So that was the only scrum that got smashed in. But they came back and they won a penalty. And as seems to be a new trend that's starting to occur, they took the 3 points.
Yeah, we talked about too. I think it's just, you see now with New Zealand teams, if there is a South African or Australian team who put on a real fight, I guess we will take the points. But I think their general mindset is we back themselves. We're gonna get more points by just lines than we keep it Arby's. It would be sorry for that. I mean, it would be stupid of these low scoring games that most derbies are.
You're just breaking up a bit there, so I'm missing a little bit of what you're saying, Herman, but I'm getting the gist of what you're saying.
I cannot hear you. Can you?
Okay,
yeah, okay. All right. If you see how low.
Hopefully that's Herman's link and not mine. No, that's all right. It's just like, yeah, with the low scores, it's the opportunities there. You got points in front of the posts or close to the post. It's silly not to take the points on offer.
Yeah.
You
win games by doing it.
Yep. And accumulating, you get back down there and getting some more points, and just basically taking the points on offer. So then we had a massive break in the game because an injury break, and that was with Aiden Ross being injured. And I'm not sure. They didn't show a replay, but I believe it was Angus Tavo who knocks the ball on, and then in the scramble for the ball actually falls on Aiden Ross's leg and appears to have broken it. And so it was a big break in the game there, and I think that led to a part of the continuity errors or issues in that first half in particular.
Yeah. But it was a weird game because it seems like it wasn't like any malice in it. It was hard, but very, very fair, but from both sides.
Oh, absolutely.
But it seemed like a lot of guys, even they hurt themselves. Even tackling Mackenzie for some of the guys was hurt. They hurt themselves every single time they tried to tackle him.
It was, exactly. It was a very physical game, like we expect from the New Zealand derbies. Very physical, but as you say, there was no niggle, or not any obvious niggle occurring, and played in a very good spirit. It was just an unfortunate sort of collapse of bodies where Aiden Ross's leg got trapped under Angus Tuavau, and obviously he suffered a pretty serious injury there.
Yeah. That's very, very sad. But speaking about this, I guess we have to give a little bit props to the referee. Yeah, a really solid game. It was, it doesn't nail every call the way you think yourself, but who can do that? I mean, and all the important ones. Hold on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jamie Nut-Brown made some very good calls today in the game, and he had a very good game. You wouldn't go back to any point in the game that could say, the referee affected it and possibly the flow of the game, or a turning point in the game affected by it. In fact, just since we're talking about Jamie Nut-Brown's performance, I thought the decision with Beauden Barrett's try was an excellent decision. I personally thought that it was a bit dicey, but I liked the way that the process went, and the fact is that the referee called it. He felt it was an on-field try. There's not enough evidence to overturn his on-field decision, and they stuck with the try. Conversely, if he had said no try, there was obviously not enough evidence to say the try had been scored, so it would have been no try. I'm comfortable with the way that ruling was made and in the process that they went through. And I thought all the officials got that call 100% right.
Oh, I agree with you completely here, Ash. I mean, first of all, that many referees miss that. If there is like a suspicious forward pass or something suspicious, but it's clearly try on for one of the teams, let them finish the move, because we've seen so many tries that never happened. Because it's so accepted now. You go back and check, if there's anything wrong, just fine. So that's a penalty up there, or is that scrum?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, last week we saw, I think it was in the Brumbies Rebels game, where the referee blew it up and because he thought it was a knock on. And in the reality, it wasn't a knock on, and the Rebels, I think, would have scored the try. So yeah, absolutely. You've got the technology there. It's a good opportunity to let the game flow and then come back and just review things. Just so moving on to it. So as mentioned before, after getting smashed in one of the early scrums, the Chiefs scrum really started to pile it on, and they got a scrum penalty out in front of the post, and Damian McKenzie proceeded to miss it, which was a bit of a surprise. It was a relatively easy kick. But I think the element of that one was the fact is that after seeing that Chiefs scrum go backwards at a rate of knots in that early scrum, you sort of thought, uh-oh, they're in trouble here. But it was the only occasion occurred, and that the scrum penalty in this occasion just showed the dominance that they had at scrum time that actually carried on through the game.
Yeah. I guess that goes also back to what we said in the beginning here, that the Chiefs could have won this game, because if you have that kind of scrum dominance and a lot of other things going for you, you will always win a chance. So I think they'll be like fairly happy with the performance, but I think they will feel very harsh on the bus back home tonight. They could have won that game.
And then sort of basically just before halftime, another exquisite Damian McKenzie pass, putting I can't remember who it was that put him into the break. Fowley it was. That's right. He put Fowley into the break. Makes a fantastic break down the left hand flank again.
Right.
And the Hurricanes offside in the middle of the field, and easy 3 points before halftime to take the Hurricanes into the sheds at 10-6. Just a bit of a shame.
I have nothing.
You got nothing.
You have to recap what happened in the end.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a. I was a bit surprised actually that I thought Fowley might have had a bit more speed than what was showing in that break. Actually, he got caught quite easily, and the movement did break down and lose a bit of momentum. And even with that breakdown and loss of momentum, the Hurricanes still managed to get themselves offside in midfield. And then basically that brought down the curtain with a penalty for DMAC on a very long half due to the injury break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're summing up the half perfectly. I have nothing to add.
yeah. So after basically, I mean, I think as both coaches, in their halftime conversation, or the assistant coaches mentioned, it was really a matter for both sides not taking the opportunities in that first half. Hurricanes and Chiefs, either little mistakes here or there, or just taking the wrong options. And so obviously the focus was coming into that second half was to basically tidy up the decision making. And sort of that scrappy half sort of turned into a pretty good half in turned into a better second half. Where we saw some amazing talents of Bowden Barrett coming to the fore.
Yeah, I was in the beginning of the game. I was thinking more like, damn, McKenzie is really growing into it. I mean, he's going to be the next 10 for sure. Like he's going to grab a number 2 ranking for another 10 years this year. And what maybe is he better than Bowden? And then Bowden chose his man. Yeah, plays 10. He plays 10 so different from all the others. I mean, it's really, really different. And that's what we. Sorry, I mean that's where a lot of complaints from New Zealand comes about him. That he's not like the perfect game manager in a tight game, but in some space he's a dream.
No, I tend to agree with you on that one. Is this a fact is that he might not come across as the quintessential number 10, the copybook 10, but he seems to read the game very well. What he plays, what's in front of him, very well, and probably the best moment of the game was his scoop
Yeah, I mean,
that led to that try. But then Brodie Retallick, geez, keeping pace with Beauden Barrett, who I think a lot of us think of as the fastest All Black back, and Brodie Retallick keeps pace with him, even with the chip ahead. Beauden Barrett chips ahead because he sees that Retallick's going to catch him, and Retallick basically sort of keeps pace with him even in the chase, and really just gets a bit unlucky, I suppose, with the call. As we talked about before, I felt that he did have a hand in there, but it was definitely a 50-50 scenario, and the tries awarded. But geez, just that little micro moment in the game was just a fantastic, a massive lock.
Yeah. But I think it was even more to it, that because you could probably claim that Brodie Retallick and Beauden Barrett are the two best players in the world.
Yep.
And to see them to have a duel like that, of course, I mean, everyone, but maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm thinking maybe because actually after that round, that when Brodie had like one or two mistakes before, but it was still good. It was actually after that run he started to play poor almost. Maybe he burnt himself there because keeping up, but for real, keeping up with Beauden Barrett with that kind of body.
You reckon he used up the juice in the tank?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't trying to sprint against Beauden Barrett?
It's interesting, though. I think coming back to a point that you made quite a bit earlier, and the fact is that Brodie Retallick probably had one of his poorer games. If you could call that performance from Brodie Retallick a poor game, because he dropped a couple of balls in that, but still a massive engine and a massive effort from him again.
Yeah. But we don't use normal scales when we call Brodie's performance. You use Brodie scale when we call his performances.
Absolutely.
If it's not world class, he's out of form now. He's not.
No, that's. I'm just. Just got a question, I think, coming through. Just what the final score. We'll get to the final score at the end. I'll let you know. Keep you in suspense.
26-13.
I
know. No notes. I just remember it.
Then basically with the second try that the Canes scored in the second half, their third try, I felt that they started to revert back to a bit more consistency. I don't know if I used the right phrase, but they held the ball. They started going forward, just taking it forward, one off the ruck or two off the ruck sort of thing, instead of just basically trying to do the old miracle play. Got it wide, stretched the Chiefs' defense, got very close to the try line, and then the Chiefs infringed under advantage. A fantastic cross kick from that man, Beauden Barrett again. And Chiefs unlucky not to get that ball, bounces into Laumapi's hands, and he's got an easy stroll over and a dive in the corner.
Yeah, but I feel like it was Anton Leonard-Brown who jumped with him in the air there for that try. Both of them competed for the ball, and it was
yep.
Yeah, so. And I'm a little bit disappointed with Leonard-Brown there because his job is not even to catch it. He can be much more destructive, just try to ruin the move, But Luampi catch it like both hands over the head, like the most easiest way if you want to take someone out. So I think great execution from Beauden Barrett and Luampi, but I think Leonard-Brown has to take some blame there too. Not good.
To tell you the truth, I actually felt that Leonard-Brown was possibly a little bit missing in this game. They really missed his leadership. I think coming back to what you've been referring to, the Chiefs definitely had their chances in this game, and there was mistakes made. And just in that back line, I think you needed someone like Leonard-Brown to sort of to sort of like step up a bit to be able to control it. and make those right decisions. And I thought that he was a bit absent tonight.
Yeah, agree. I mean, Leonard Brown is interesting. I think we talked about that before also, that his first year with the All Blacks was like a spectacular first year. You like really felt like, oh, he's owning the shirt right away. But last year he got the cold shoulder, and it seems that he's going to go even further from getting selected now. I wonder if his confidence at doing now.
Yeah, I think that All Black midfield is there's got a few. I don't think it's a lay down Nazir for anybody in particular. I think it's quite open. Obviously, you've got Crotty that's probably will walk in there. But in terms of who's going to be there with him, Sonny Bill Williams being injured, Lau Mapi's playing pretty well. You've got Leonard Brown possibly not playing so well. So yeah, it's a bit open there in that midfield.
Yeah, which probably makes it even worse because he's been inside. He's been tried out. Like he got a full year trying out playing center for All Blacks, and then nothing more has really happened after that. That means the coaches probably have made up their mind about it.
Yep, absolutely. Right, and I made a note here, and this is like I was a bit wrong, but I said in the 53rd minute, I made a note. This is like, oh, Chiefs are gone. It just looked like they were going backwards. They really didn't have any structure to their play. It was all a bit just hit and hope type scenario. But they really sort of came back towards the end of the game. They had their opportunities in that last 20, probably just after I wrote that note, and they just really didn't take their opportunities. They did score the try to bring them close in that 22-13. But they got the try, concerted pressure. They got that line out penalty on the line, so the kick to the corner. They went from sideline to sideline, and they came back in Boshier. Damien McKenzie breaking the Fatty Alofa tackle, feeding to the outside, and Boshier going over, having the straight run in and diving in at the corner. So I mean, they showed signs with, I think there was about good 15 minutes to go, that they could get back into the game, but unfortunately, I think thereafter is just the error rate just sort of seemed to actually creep up a bit, if anything.
Yeah, but it's probably a bit of fatigue coming in there too, because even if it was not played with malice, it was very, very high tempo. You had that long break after 20 minutes, but after that, it was pretty much up tempo all the way in.
Yeah, and that's in fact, interesting you say that, because the Hurricanes coach alluded to that in the halftime break, the assistant, I should say, in the fact that they were sort of like the Hurricanes just need to keep playing for the 80, because they should run them off there. They were expecting to run over the top of them towards the end of the game, but they sort of achieved it. But I think that was from the fatigue from the mistakes of the Chiefs.
Oh, I have to ask you, did you see, like, I don't know, after one of the Hurricanes tries, we showed the coaching boss, and Chris Boyd smiled. Did you see that?
So somebody was behind him and tickling him. Is that what you're suggesting?
He was not big, After the third try, I think it was.
It's interesting. I just Andre in the old messages coming through, sort of surprised the Chiefs didn't milk a penalty in the last 10. I thought that they did in one instance. They had a scrum on their own 22, and they knew that they had the edge on the Hurricanes in the scrum. They kept it in there, and they basically got the scrum penalty to get them out of the half. So I think they did try to use that. The surprising thing for me was there was some kicking towards sort of that last 10 minutes from the Chiefs, where I was thinking, you need to score twice. I just don't understand when teams start kicking when they have to score twice. Doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree completely. And it seemed also in 2 occasions, it seemed like Chiefs was like in a pretty good formation and positioning, like really really pointless to kick it away there, because everyone was ready for the chase and for the catch up. So
yeah, Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As you say, when you've got the defenses set, why would you kick the ball downfield? In fact, you're only putting your own team in a precarious position
Yeah,
because now your defensive line is all of a sudden a broken line.
yeah,
If you've just kicked to a set defense, they've got all their players in place to support the ball carrier.
yeah. And also to be Highland, and also, sorry, the Hurricanes kickers are pretty good with both Barrett brothers. You know, you mean they will not give away too many mistakes to you.
No, not at all, not at all. I think there's just another comment in the old chat coming through on the
Mm.
YouTube, unsure about what to do with DMAC at All Black level. He's a bit everything, but
But
I think coming back to him, he is definitely now. He's had time in that jersey. He's really starting to position himself as at least a backup to Bowden Barrett. I think we saw enough today, and I think there'll still be progression in his game as he spends more time in that number 10 jersey. He's going to be a fantastic asset on the All Blacks bench.
yeah, I'm not totally agree with you. I think for me, he nailed the number 23 jersey just because he can cover both Barrett and Ben Smith. That's going to be the golden thing that does the trick for him.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, exactly. When you got a player on the bench that can cover two positions for you, they're a little bit like gold.
And to be fair, two key positions too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just got another comment on DMAC coming through, and I suppose contradicting or opposite to what we're saying, in that DMAC seems to lack a bit of composure. I actually think I don't agree with that. I think that he has got the composure. There was a moment at the back end of the game that he ran sideways, and I'm thinking, you're just setting up your defense to get smashed. But that was only once, and and it was at a desperation time in the game where they're trying to invent something. As we've both alluded to, I think the more time he spends at number 10 jersey for the Chiefs, the better he gets as a number 10 playmaker.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's like very clear to see, like maybe not from week to week, but now it's like it was the 7th game so far in Super Rugby, and I think he's just getting better and better at DMAC for every game he plays. And it's fairly obvious to say that 10 is not a new position for him. A lot of the basics he has got them because he played there all his life before, I guess. So
yeah, absolutely.
So, DMAC looked good and set for the All Blacks, starting from the bench, but we'll see about Bowden Barrett or Ben Smith can stay fit. Otherwise, he's going to be in there.
Yeah, and then also just the same person making a comment, Geordie's platinum. Actually, I think Geordie's another one that's sort of along the DMAC lines, and the fact that he obviously had his injury issues early on in Super Rugby and had been coming back from injury, and I think he's growing more and more into that 15 jersey. I don't think he will displace Ben Smith. Ben Smith just on another planet when you see the way that he performs. He doesn't make wrong decisions, etc. But to have as a backup someone like Geordie Barrett, I think is a great position to be in.
Oh, decent luxury there. Oh, yeah,
nice. Well, I think we've covered off everything that I had to notes that anything you'd like to add before we sort of bid adieu to our adoring audience?
Yeah, of course. Who was your man of the match?
Interesting you say that. I had that in my head, and now it's absolutely gone. I was watching the game. I was thinking, Ben Lamb. Ben Lamb is my man of the match. Ben Lamb.
Yeah, no,
yep.
I'm doing the boring show. I got to give it to Bowden today because he was. If it's one difference between the two teams, it was him.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Interesting, actually, in terms of that Bowden Barrett aspect. We've always considered the Bowden Barrett TJ Perenara combination and how well it works together. Do you think there was obviously there was a bit of a the flow wasn't quite there today in that inside pairing?
Yeah, but I thought that was a little bit deceptive. Now I don't remember his name, the one who played today.
Jamie Booth.
Because I thought his pattern in movement, his whole style of playing looked like super similar to TJ Perenara. Sometimes they only got like a little bit lighter hair, I got actually tricked a few times. Is it TJ playing? Very, very similar.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose you could say the same for him. You know, when you've got someone like TJ that's playing week in, week out, you don't get time in the jersey. Can make it, you know, it's hard to sort of then step in to the game and to be, you know, to play your best when you haven't been playing rugby for a while.
I agree.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a man of the match for you, Bowden Barrett, as well as Andre there in the chat coming through. Ben Lamb for me, and hopefully he hasn't done anything to his hamstring, and we get to see more Ben Lamb crashing through players and pinballing them.
I'll drink to
that. Well, that's our post-match review for today. I'd like to thank Herman, who I think we can get you on Facebook, I believe, or how can people? Nobody. How can people can come and watch you on DrivingMaul? That's the way they can find out what Herman's thoughts are. Correct?
Yeah, totally correct.
And I've been NZ Fatso, standing in for Paul at DrivingMaul. You can catch me on NZ Fatso on Twitter. Yeah, that's about it. Whatever rugby you're watching this weekend, go out and enjoy it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.